Hey Matt, I think you should check Twitter.
I can't. I'm busy.
I know, but I think it's really important. You should probably check Twitter.
I didn't think 1,000 people were actually gonna like this. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is, you know, I think I'm a little less relevant than it seems I am. This is actually a call to how important I truly am as a content creator on this platform. And you're welcome.
Part of the fun of the tweet is the mystery surrounding it. Is it Fallout 76? Wait, I reviewed that. It must be Avengers. Some even guessed The Last of Us Part 2. Now is probably a good time to ask myself why I own these games that people hate. Well, 76 isn't even a disc, you see? It's cardboard. Here, this is my good deed for the day. Yep, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutants in Manhattan. Step aside, Metal Gear Survive, all right? The real bad games are talking.
It's close to the worst of all time. There's really only one other one that's worse, and it's Ride to Hell Retribution. I mean, that one's horrible because you're banging people with your clothes on. And I'm not exaggerating. That actually is what happens. In the case of Ninja Turtles, it's just one of the most distasteful action games I've had the displeasure of playing. So it's close. It's up there.
There's a lot of people out there who think video games are an easy job, but who else out there is going to beat Mutants in Manhattan twice? You know how many people have done this? 0.9%. You're talking to a top 2,000 player in TMNT Mutants in Manhattan. I could start my own dojo with this skill set. I'm not saying I'm a big deal, but I mean, who else is going to travel 150 miles in a game with 10 stages? Look, I never finished my bachelor's degree. What do you want me to do? But I did it all with one single purpose in mind, to make sure no one could ever convince me this game was anything less than a heaping pile of garbage. The worst games to me are the ones that grab the license of a property I care deeply about and crap a product out at the expense of my displeasure. Mutants in Manhattan, you take one look at that art style and go, hold up, we might have something here. But once that IDW comic goodness rubs off and you sink a half hour into the game, it all disappears and you're left with only your own sadness. Ninja Turtle games have always and forever been beat 'em ups. That's fine with me. They're easy to pick up, satisfying, they work for their time. Heck, they even work now. But next, I want you to lend me your imagination to a world where beat 'em ups involving enemies that just never ever go down. Imagine a beat 'em up where there is no mastery, just dying a lot. Mutants in Manhattan is that game. No matter what your power-ups are, no matter your upgrades, no matter the abilities used, they never ever go down.
Mutants in Manhattan, that's a game that you can't master. These games, however, you can master. They used to call this cabinet here a virginity protector, but I won this in 99. This they gave to me in 2000 because I wouldn't leave the place. And I've gotten actually so good at the game now, true mastery, unlike Mutants in Manhattan, that I play this with my hands behind my back. And, you know, once again, virginity protectors be damned.
The rage that swells up within my gut as I bang away on an enemy as a fully upgraded Ninja Turtle only to do next to 0 damage is indescribable. This game has a severe balance issue. The only way you do moderate levels of damage is by drinking power juice or using a turret because nothing says Ninja Turtles more than guns.
Donnie, you gotta help. The city's in trouble, man. Casey Jones, is that you? What are you doing wearing that? I cook for you guys now. I've retired from fighting crime. Come on, let's go. Okay, what gun am I gonna take this time? This looks good. All right.
Yeah, now the game was very apparently slapped together. I mean, the objectives themselves are the epitome of, hey fellow kids, you like your Ninja Turtles, right? Each mission you play spawns random odd jobs to complete, like beating up thugs, disarming bombs, transporting bombs. Boring? Yes, of course, but it's also flat out stupid. Like, hey, the subway station's on fire. Save the pizza stand that the Foot Ninja are attacking, because that makes sense. The Ninja Turtles love pizza, am I right? Hit them where it hurts.
Destroy all the pizza in New York City, because that'll further the plot for this enriching tale.
It'll be as you command, my lord. Damn turtles.
So it's boring, tedious, but I never talked about monotony. So there are 9 stages in total. Stage 1 is in New York City. Classic. Stage 2 sends you to a subway system. Stage 3 goes back to the sewers. Stage 4 puts you in a construction site above the city. And then what? You do it all again. All of it again. Stage 5, back to the sewers, but it's a little darker and much more padded out. Stage 6, above New York City, except it's just raining. Stage 7 reuses literally every single boss in the game already, and did I not mention this is like a 3-hour game? Stage 8, you're back in the city, but it's on fire, and it is a level that will test the patience in even the most strongest of men and women out there. All the enemies are spongy. All the objectives are awful, and it is single-handedly the most terrible stage I've experienced in a video game ever. And then in stage 9, it all ends. It is actually the first game I played that is under 4 hours that could have actually had its length cut in half because it's so shamelessly padded and slapped together and does nothing but waste your time.
Game's got me thinking about the environment lately. That's one good thing. Reduce, reuse, recycle. It's just been a consistent theme throughout this game.
Given the art style of the game, I expected them to not only take artistic inspiration, but also storytelling inspiration from the IDW comics. These display a far more mature side of the Ninja Turtles that highlights the bonds shared between the 4 brothers with far more grit to boot. But much like the objectives in this game, it doesn't try to spice things up in the slightest. It does not care about your leisure time at all. Yeah, it's a Shredder story, but the best part, I love this, is that they actually had the balls to do a cliffhanger for a game that you could beat within 4 hours. How incredible is that? And I know some may say the Ninja Turtles aren't known for their stories, but watch the original TMNT movie, read the comics, watch 2003 TMNT's cartoon. There is storytelling potential all over the place.
Writing's something I've always been passionate about, but I've eluded it for years. And after playing this game, I don't know, man, something struck in me. I had to get to the notebook immediately.
Worse yet, this isn't even in 60 FPS. How can a Platinum game not be in 60 FPS? Wait, did I never mention that? Yes, this is from Platinum Games. At the time in 2016, creators of Bayonetta, Transformers Devastation, and Vanquish. They've certainly found their way now with the likes of Astral Chain and gotten back on track with Nier Automata, but even back then, they crapped out a Legend of Korra game that, while bad in the early going, had great replay value. You couldn't even get that here. Their reasoning for no 60 FPS when it came to TMNT Mutants in Manhattan, get this, they wanted to achieve that beautiful local multiplayer. Hey, guess what, guys? Guess what didn't make it into the game? And guess what's still at 30 FPS on consoles? Isn't it amazing? I love being lied to. That's my favorite thing in the world. That and short games. I love short games.
There's very few things in life that are so short and so amazing, but you want them to last a really long time. And one of them is cooking. Cooking is something that you put a lot of love and time into, and imagine a world where that's just not the case.
As you can tell, 4 years later, the wound is still fresh. It stings every time I fire this game up. For every hint of potential, it's instantaneously smushed out with one of its many terrible aspects. Great art, repetitive levels, potential for upgrading the turtles and customizing your experience, spongy enemies no matter what you do. This even carries over into the sound. No matter how bad a Ninja Turtle game has been, there's always been iconic soundtracks and amazing sound design. You cannot mess this up, except this game kind of messed it up. There's no catchy songs, there's no iconic music, there are no catchphrases whatsoever. You know what everyone says before they pull off any single ability in this game?
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's go to the trash. Even the horribly reviewed Out of the Shadows, which I don't get that, by the way. This game showed so much potential, but even this horrible reviewed game had a great soundtrack. It had great homages. It was truly made by Turtle fans. This game was crapped out, forced out by Activision, and guess what? You can't even grab it now, even if you wanted to. Even if somehow this video compelled you to say, Matt's wrong, and I'm going to give it a shot. It is a licensed game. You cannot download this. You want to buy this? Go out on eBay. Go spend $80 on it. I beg of you. I beg of you to put yourself through the torture. Please don't do that, actually. Please don't do that. No one needs to suffer quite like I have. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutants in Manhattan is hands down the worst game of this generation. I don't care what people are going to show me with the likes of really buggy games that released for $200. TMNT Mutants in Manhattan had a budget, it had the proper publisher, it had the proper talent, and it had the great license. Everything came together, and it failed on every single front epically. It did borderline nothing right except for its beautiful art style. That is one of the only things I can consistently compliment with this game. And some of the bosses look cool. Fighting against them, it's not fun. I cannot stand this game. It is bad for my health. I have beat it a total of 4 times since it has come out in hopes that one day something will change in me. Something will change with the game, but it is unbalanced. It is pathetically repetitive. It is somehow strung out despite it only being 4 hours. I can't believe this game exists, and it is hands down the worst game I have played in a really, really long while. And hey, I'm tucking this in the back of the video because I guarantee 5 of you will see this, but if this video gets 10,000 likes, I'll stream the entirety of Ride to Hell Retribution, but we already know that's not going to happen.